Just last month, Bowling Green decided to reinstate their baseball program just 17 days after they initially cut it. On that note, it's been exactly 1 week since Boise State eliminated its baseball program. Despite the fact the university has said their decision is final, head coach Gary Van Tol and company push on in effort to save their program. When compared to Bowling Green's situation, do the Broncos have hope, or are there noticeable differences? I recently caught up with Falcons head coach Gary Hollick to find out. I know that every university, every athletic department is built differently and has different influences. At Boise State, they've been told that there's nothing that they can do to save the program. They push on with their fundraising efforts. I'm curious how that approach compares to what you were dealing with. Were you guys given any hope at all after the program was cut?
From my standpoint, our initial thought process was we didn't know that it was going to be an option until our alumni started setting the tone for this Save BGSU baseball campaign. And as the news got around and word of mouth traveled that this was happening, our administration did not say no. BGSU baseball is not possible without the support of our administration.
When you compare your alumni base to Boise State's, it looks very different. Boise State has played 14 games in the last 40 years. You give thanks to your administration, but also would Bowling Green baseball exist if you didn't have that type of alumni base?
105 years. We just finished year number 105.
Wow.
I believe it's 17 big leaguers, over 100 draft picks. So everyone came together for this logo right here, for that logo.
So the program gets cut on May 15th, and it gets reinstated on June 2nd. Were you guys at all given a target figure that you wanted to hit? Donation sustainability, anything like that? And then what were the funds that you ended up raising?
Yeah, originally it was $3.5 million for over 5 years. And where we saw hope and positive feedback was when the administration said 3 years, 1.5. When they came back with that, that was a huge, huge deal. They valued and appreciated the effort.
Obviously, Bowling Green is a long ways away from Boise, Idaho. But I'm curious, were you hearing any buzz at all about the Boise State baseball team, despite the fact they only played 14 games?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had heard the type of players they were recruiting, and we knew that once Gary was hired and he filled his staff, we're like, okay, that's a high achiever. And then we saw the plans for the stadium, and we're sitting there like, man, you think they'll turf it blue like the football program? We kept our eye on it just because we figured with everything we saw and we read from the baseball world websites, that program is going to come back the right way and at a high level.
So how likely is it that Boise State can follow in the footsteps of Bowling Green? Well, there are a couple of similarities. Both made cuts to their budget before their programs were surprisingly cut altogether. Here's where Bowling Green has the advantages, though, in the differences. They have a much bigger alumni base. Also, their university gave them a financial goal to hit. Meanwhile, according to a source, Boise State has not provided their program with any financial benchmarks. And yet, they continue to push on. According to a private fundraising source, the total amount raised by both the baseball and swimming and diving programs is now over $500,000. In addition to that, the Boise Hawks have dropped the cost on their facility fees a total of $90,000 over the next 2 years, according to multiple sources. Instead of charging Boise State $125,000 annually, that figure would decrease to $75,000 in 2021 and $85,000 in 2022. Staying on the diamond, 2 more Boise State baseball players have hit the transfer market, and both of them landed in the Pac-12. Braden Spears is committed to the University of Oregon. This past spring, he went 1-1 with a 2.53 ERA and K'd 8 over 10 innings of work. Meanwhile, Stuart Fleslin is headed to his home state of Washington. The left-handed hurler recently accepted an offer from UW. Switching topics but not institutions, as of today, Boise State confirmed that they have conducted 533 total COVID-19 tests amongst their student athletes, coaches, and staff members. Of those, 22 came back positive, and of those, 7 individuals were asymptomatic. Just last month, Boise State confirmed 4 cases within athletics. A school spokesperson confirmed with me today that each of those individuals have completed the recovery process and that none of those specific cases resulted in a hospitalization. Heading on out to Caldwell, we'll soon know more about what the upcoming season looks like for the College of Idaho football team. Despite some reports, no decision has yet been made. However, conference officials are scheduled to meet next week. A source tells me that moving the upcoming football season to the spring is an option that is currently on the table. Stick around, more news at 10 right after this.